It was a Friday night, just like any other. Emma was in the kitchen, cutting vegetables, her sharp knife scraping against the cutting board like her words scraping against me. We hadn't touched in days, maybe weeks. Not that I noticed until then. I was too busy with work, too busy avoiding her. But that night, the words hit differently. "If you're so unhappy, take my sister," she spat, her voice thick with anger, the way it always was when she was trying to hurt me. But this time, those words, they felt like a dare, a challenge, like she wanted me to take her up on it, like she was testing how far I'd go before I cracked. I froze, the weight of what she said hanging in the air between us. "What?" I asked, not sure if I heard her correctly, if I had imagined the sharpness in her tone, the bitterness behind it. Her face twisted, a snarl pulling at her lips as she snapped, "You heard me. If you're so miserable here, maybe you'd be happier with her." She threw the knife down and it clattered against the counter, loud enough to make my heart jump. "It's not about the chicken, Noah. It's about you giving up on us. We're nothing but strangers now." I stood there, unsure of how to respond, my body locked in place as if it were afraid to move. "Take my sister," she repeated, her words cutting through the silence like a blade. I thought about it. Callie, Emma's younger sister. She was everything Emma wasn't. Vibrant, playful, full of life. I'd known her for years, watched her grow from a girl into a woman, always just a little too beautiful for comfort. The kind of beauty that made men look twice, and the kind of woman who didn't need to try. But she was family. Emma's sister, off limits, always had been. But in that moment, something inside me shifted. Was it a joke? Was Emma trying to push me away, or was she giving me a way out? My heart raced as the thought festered in my mind. Take her sister. She hadn't said go flirt with her or sleep with her. Number. She said take her. Like she was daring me, testing me. I could feel the heat rising in my chest as the challenge hung in the air between us. Later that night, I lay awake in bed, staring at the ceiling, unable to sleep. Emma was in the guest room, I assumed. It had become our routine, the cold distance between us settling into the silence like a familiar ache. But my mind, it kept racing, kept coming back to her words. Take my sister. And I couldn't stop thinking about Callie, the memory of her laughing at one of my dumb jokes at a family gathering, her eyes lingering on mine for a second too long. I'd shrugged it off then, pretended it didn't mean anything. But now I couldn't shake the image of her. The way she'd smiled at me, the way she seemed to notice me in a way Emma hadn't in years. It made my heart ache in a way that had nothing to do with love and everything to do with longing. I tried to shake it off, tried to tell myself it was nothing, but it wasn't nothing. It was everything. The more I thought about it, the more the thought of her became an obsession. Callie was everything Emma used to be, maybe everything Emma could still be, if she tried. But she didn't. The next day, Emma didn't come home. Not until late in the evening. Then she came back like nothing had happened, barely acknowledging me. Her silence was louder than any words could ever be. She didn't even care. She didn't ask about me, about my day, about anything. She didn't even look up when I said, "You okay?" Her indifference was suffocating. I sat in the kitchen, looking at the empty seat across from me, and I realized something. I wasn't angry. I wasn't sad. I was hollow. Emma had checked out, and I had too. There was no passion left, no connection, just a void. The thought of Callie crept back in, as it always did. A few days later, I ran into Callie at the store. I hadn't planned it. In fact, I was trying to avoid her, trying to keep the distance. But there she was, standing in the aisle, looking at something on the shelf. She turned when she heard my footsteps, her face lighting up when she saw me. That smile, genuine, warm. Not the fake politeness I got from Emma these days. We talked for a few minutes about nothing and everything. It felt easy with her. It didn't feel like a performance. She made me laugh the way she always did, and for a brief moment, I forgot about the life I was supposed to be living. I forgot about the cold house, the silent nights, and the woman I used to love. Callie was different. She noticed me. She saw me. And for the first time in months, I felt alive. We met again a few days later. Dear. This time it wasn't an accident. I texted her, told her I needed to get out of the house, that I couldn't be in that silence any longer. We met for lunch, sat in a park, talking about anything but Emma. At one point, she looked at me, really looked at me, and said, "You know, I used to envy you. You had everything, the house, the marriage, the life. It looked perfect. I shook my head. It wasn't, I muttered, and I meant it. It felt like a fairy tale, she said quietly, until I saw it for what it really was. I didn't respond. I couldn't. The weight of her words hit harder than I expected. After lunch, we walked around, no destination in mind. The air was heavy with something unspoken, something that had been lingering between us for months. I wasn't sure what it was, but I knew it was real. And then, when we were standing at the edge of a small bridge, she turned to me and said, "You ever think about what your life would have looked like if one thing had gone differently?" I didn't know how to answer, because the truth was, I was standing on the edge of something. I didn't know if it was the right thing or the wrong thing, but it felt like something that had been waiting for me for a long time. I didn't kiss her. I didn't cross that line, but I didn't walk away either. Later that night, I lay in bed, wide awake. Emma's back turned to me, the space between us colder than ever, and I thought about Callie, about her laugh, her smile, the way she made me feel alive, in a way Emma hadn't in years. And I realized something then. Emma wasn't just my wife. She was my cage. And Callie was the key. I didn't know what would happen next, but I knew one thing for sure. I was already too far gone, and I didn't want to come back.